Hello guys, welcome back. Now in today's video we're going to go over a bunch of tips that I've collected from the beta 2 and maybe beta 1 as well as a concept for tips to do, what to do for a smooth sailing experience, having a good time, not regretting anything, and generally do well in your growth of your account when you first start Arknights Endfield. Obviously I have to specify that this is beta stuff, beta information, which is subject to change on the release version. So pay attention to that before we begin. And if at the end of the video you still have questions, feel free to leave a comment below or come ask me live at twitch.tv/JKZN. So now let's begin with our first tip, which is use your stamina. I know that it sounds very silly to say, but your stamina early on is going to be basically capping all the time. The max stamina, which you can see for me, it's 350, is going to be like 120, 130 when you start at level 1 and increase the cap with your account level. But early on, you're going to have basically capped stamina immediately. So what you can do is immediately go and find something to do that uses stamina and do it a little bit so that you don't cap, and get a little bit of XP as well. The main story is going to have multiple points where it gates your level, and it's going to be requiring you to be a certain account level to progress the main scenario. So if you keep doing this, if you don't cap your stamina too much, you're going to have a nice pacing and not get gated too much, right? So, and your stamina cap is going to be very low. So remind yourself, let me check, is my stamina capped? I have a very low cap at the moment. I need to level up. So the moment you unlock one silly domain, which you should be one of these, like around here, you just get protocol space. The first one that you get is also good materials, so you're not wasting anything. Just do level 1 as soon as possible, do maybe a couple of runs, consume your stamina so you don't have to worry about it for the next like 10 hours, right? And continue with your main story. Now, this ties to the next one, tip, which is throughout your expansion of the map, you will eventually have multiple outposts. It's very important for you to not neglect these too much. Why? In this game, you really want to get as many a valley stock bill as possible because they're used to make gear, they're used to buy stuff that you need, they're used to they're used for trading to get even more. So they are really important, and the first way for you to get them is by trading on the camps that you get. The first camp is going to be the refugee camp, the second camp is going to be an infestation, and the third camp is going to be on the reconstruction HQ towards the end of the first region story. So you really want to pay attention to the refugee camp level and the prosperity. By trading the materials, you're going to get prosperity and max out the level, which will then level up and give you more materials to get more coins, more bills in a shorter amount of time. Now I need to trade like thousands of these to get enough to be okay on okay amount. But if I were to make this better item, it would take half the time. One third of the time it would be way faster and get way more tickets. And obviously these items have to be made in your bank, in your main facility, in your base, but this is something that you need to pay attention to because it's very important. If you don't level up your camp, it's going to forever be stuck at like silly transfers with like very low stock bills. So pay attention to that, okay? Now, the energy management is very important. So this is going to be our third tip. As you can see at the top, I am running a bunch of structures, and there is a number 1.7k out of 1.86k. At the start, you will have a max of 500, and it is important for you to check how much you are generating in the sense of like energy by using eventually thermal banks to increase your max cap of electricity. And please pay attention if you are running out of any materials that you're using. The first material is going to be this little rock over here, but in the future you're gonna swap to batteries, so you need to be able to sustain the consumption of batteries used on the thermal bank because they give you way more. As you can see, one original ore gives you 50 power, one mid-tier battery, tier 2, this is tier 2, could be even better, gives you 420 for each. So this is very important for you to swap eventually to batteries, but they get consumed one every 40 seconds. So you need to be careful. It's like, am I making the batteries fast enough? And this is a tip. Pay attention to your income of whatever material you're using on the thermal bank, because if you don't, and you can check it by going on Y and then checking the outpost management, and then you can go to your ESC and go to AIC report and check the yield, right? I'm making some materials. Which materials am I making? Go and check here. I am making 8 Valley battery and I'm consuming 5. So as long as this is correct, you will never run out of energy and you can leave your base over time. You can go to sleep, come back tomorrow and the base will be fine. Otherwise, if it's not enough, you will eventually run out. It's going to tell you if it's going to be red, if it's bad. It's going to eventually run out and you're going to wake up tomorrow with your whole factory completely shut down, everything exploded because you don't have enough energy, which will then make you into a little bit of a paradox because you can't generate more of these items if they were coming from a facility which now has no power. So you can't make more batteries really quick because you don't have any power. And this affects every camp at the same time. So this is a very important thing to remember. Otherwise, you're gonna brick your base. This happened to me, and the way I fixed it was to make like 15 new thermal banks and use the Origeometry more to overcap a little bit, enough to power up the whole base, and then quickly make more batteries to offset the issue. But I don't suggest you do that too. Try to keep that in mind, right? The next tip is going to be focus on only one team for the characters. When you go to the characters, eventually you decide, I want to main this character, I want to main Last Right, all right? So check what she does on the combo. Check what items and what things she's doing all the time. In this case, she does, okay, she's doing cryo infliction. Okay, I want to focus on this. How do I make her work? She needs 3 or more cryo infliction stacks. How can I get 3 infliction? You can get 1 infliction from doing the normal battle skill. You can also get more characters that give you cryo infliction. So you can get 3 stacks on it and trigger her combo. You can do something like that. Okay, so she can do also cryo infliction or combo when you have 2 or more to get the 3rd one in. And how do you get 2? 1 from here, and you can do 1 from her skill, or you can do Snowshine skill, either Snowshine or Stella skill. They do their skill, you combo with your main attack. Now you have 2 stacks. You use Fluorite now that has the combo that can also work with cryo infliction. And since you only using cryo, her art is going to guaranteed be another cryo infliction because she basically scales with whatever is the most applied, and since you're only using cryo infliction, she's guaranteed to apply even more cryo. And basically this is my team at the moment. This is to tell you as a tip that you should focus on one team that you like, or one interaction that you like. Oh, I want to do physical. And then you can do Endmin and other characters, right? And or I want to do fire. You like, okay, Levitain, Wolfguard, you know. Build one team and one team only first. Get them to max level, everything maxed out, and then move on to the next one. Or if you're really not sure, do not invest too much resources until like level 40. Stop there, because otherwise it gets extremely expensive and you are not going to have enough materials to go anywhere. And the more you progress the game, the more you are incentivized into getting more and more powerful, because you need to clear stronger stuff. So you don't want to come into a big boss battle with like underleveled characters because you leveled up 10 characters instead of 4, right? So a very important tip. Now, next tip is claim aerospace materials. The aerospace material is very important for the Dijang, which is your main spaceship, which you occasionally come back. And to level up the Dijang, you need the aerospace materials. When you do view details, as you can see, this node specifically at max level will give me 6 normal ones and 6 purple ones. Very important. You go here occasionally and you basically do gather resource. Then you teleport to the next one, which let's say it's over here, TP point, boom. Go there. Obviously, you need to level up each one individually, but eventually you will have everything leveled up, and you occasionally come here. I would say like once a day. You run over here and you gather resources again. Boom, 6 and 6. Once you think you have enough, let's say, you go back to the Dijon, let's say, boom, and you go to the main place, which is the front of the ship, and you use the aerospace materials on top of certain items that the main scenario will give you. So you don't have to worry about it. To level up the Dijon level, and why would you do that? By leveling up the Dijon, you will also realize, I clicked the wrong one, yeah. You will also realize that this also gives you bigger level cap on certain feature that the cabin, that the Dijon has. In this case, the cabin to cultivate stuff is going to have more slots, and the control nexus is going to have a higher level cap, and now I can do it, boom, leveled up. Thanks to this, now you will be able to put more characters to work on the Dijon, generate more characters, and this goes on and on and on. In this case, I can't because the main quest ended, but eventually you will have more levels, more cap, growth chamber level up, and it's going to go over and over and over and gets better and better. This algorithm expansion is from the main mission. These are just credits, and these are the materials that you need to level up. So there's so many, as you can see. So you need to be able to level up all of the depot nodes that I showed you before, and then go there, go to Valley, go to the hub. Oh, is that ready? It is. Go there, click, and now you have enough materials. Really, really good things to do and to remember doing. Otherwise, you fall back on the Dijon expansion. The next tip that you might not know is that if you mess up the admin gender and you want to switch, you can do that once every 24 hours and switch between female and male as much as you can, like one time a day, and you can just try them out. If you want to do something one day, if you want to do something else one other day, just go to the Dijon on this place over here. It's called Protocol Singularity. Once a day, you will be able to switch between male and female, and then you need to wait 24 hours to switch again. So if you want to try different gender, you can do that here. Really nice tip in case you didn't know. It is possible to switch gender for male. So if you fucked up, you change your mind, you can do that. Next tip is going to be this Lucky Carrot guy, which basically unlocks one of the best and most important features of the game, both on Valley 4 and both in Wuling. Wuling is a little bit better in my opinion, but in this, you will have a called the stock redistribution, and it's extremely important for you to upgrade it as soon as possible because it increases the cap yield per day. Now, this just gives you stable goods, which is fine. You can buy stuff for free by just using the your Valley stock bills, and it's like X amount of time, and then they refresh. You can also buy gifts for your characters to level up the trust and give them more stats. But then this is what I wanted to show you. The elastic goods is it's one of the craziest income of stock builds per day on top of like the Outpost trading. But what you want to do basically here is buy your local cheapest material that is currently ongoing a giga discount. In this case, the Aurylene kitchenware, it's minus 51%. You will buy it. Every 20 hours, as you can see, I'm gonna get a bunch of stock that I can purchase. I already did it in another video. That's why it's not available here. But you basically buy the full stock as much as you can. It's gonna cost a bunch, so don't deplete your stocks to zero. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to do this. It's basically once every 2 days for max, but you can do half of it every day, which is pretty good, right? And then once you buy the material, you check your friend's price. One of them is going to have a crazy amount of local buff. So you go to their ship and exchange the material on their ship for a tremendous gain. I went from paying this in the beginner video, I did this, from paying 238k from 1.3 million as a gain. From that to that. So it's very important for you to do this in every region. There's one Lucky Carrot in every region. There's one in Wuling as well that does the same thing. So go there, level it up as soon as possible, and then remind yourself to do it, right? Moving on to the next tip, it should be to rush the regional development. Why? Now, the regional development, you can see it while pressing Y, And this is the regional development. Why should you rush it? Because the regional development, by the way, is increased by doing all of these activities and by just playing the game. If you expand a lot, you will also level up. The max level on the first region is 12 on Valley 4, and Wooling is level 6, at least on the beta. And as you can see here, it gives you a higher limit of stocks. So you really want to have this on, otherwise you're gonna have to cap here, not gonna be able to chill with your stocks. You have to use them because they're overcapping, so it's gonna be annoying. So if you're like, especially if you're lower level, as you can see here, I would, if I had it at 6, I would almost be capping at this moment. So it's very important to keep in mind. A little bit of a tip here, and how you level up is just by playing the game. Place your do your main scenario, place your ziplines everywhere, expand your nodes, expand your stuff, level everything up, you know, conquer the map basically. Next tip is to remember to deposit Aurylene, which are floating orbs that are around the world. When you get an Aurylene, you come here and you deposit it on any teleport point. It's very important because this also gives you materials, gives you Origeometry, which is really important, gives you XP, gives you stamina refresh, and occasionally also gives you more stamina to do more dashes in open world. So this is really important to do. So try to keep in mind, like when you see some Aurylene floating around, pick them up if you can. If it's not too annoying or too hard at the moment, then you can postpone it, but remember to do this. The next point would be, speaking of Origeometry, it would be good and wise to decide what do you want to do with the Origeometry. Now, the Origeometry is something that you get almost everywhere, but you can also buy with money. So be careful on what you want to use it on. You can translate 1 to 75 Oro, which is for pulling currency, or you can use it to refresh your stamina by 40. So depending on what you need to do, you use it accordingly. So for example, if you really want to rush your levels to access the more of the game as soon as possible, you really don't want to use them at all for converting into pool currency, and instead converting it into stamina. So you can do more stamina, you can use more stamina, which equates to more energy, to more XP, which equates to a higher level. So, you know, it's very important to keep that in mind that you can do this. So don't use them too much on pooling, because then when you I just need one more dungeon to level up. Oh, I need to wait tomorrow. If only I had one left. You know, it's very important. You can only spend 4 of them per day. So at the very least, if you're getting so many, at least just like keep 4 just in case every day, right? Just keep 4 every day and you should be fine. The next tip is going to be to use the Endfield database. This is slept on. I feel like you're gonna neglect this most of the time, but it's very important, especially in item files. Go here to check the ASC products and remind yourself on how to make these items. Like some items are very important, specifically the amethyst part and the ferrium part are one of the two of the most important materials in the game, the whole game. 2 of the most important materials are these 2. So be careful, remind yourself to do them. Also the amethyst fiber and the origo crust, extremely important. Ferrium, also good, and the powders, obviously. So, you know, if you don't remember how to do it, you just click the fitting unit and he's going to tell you how to do it and what is it used for and what to do. If there is if it's a more complicated material, then you can click the item and then click fitting unit, and it's going to tell you exactly how to make it. And now it looks crazy at first, but it's not that big of a deal when you're actually making the facility. But this is where you go to learn the chain for everything. So it's important to check the Endfield database as many times as you can to remind yourself on how to make stuff. You can also pin certain types of formulas to just see them on the screen when you're playing, right? So now the next tip would be to rush all of the inflatable wavy arms men on the map, which you will see in the map. And they look like this circle thing, protocol datalogger. This gives you a cube that you can then use on your basic ASC plan to unlock more and new facilities that you don't have access to. So if you want to get like bigger drills or better drills to drill a different ore, better ore to expand and stuff, if you don't have the material needed, in this case it looks like this cube over here, you need to go into the map and get it. So if you just remind yourself to every time you see an inflatable man or a icon similar to this, you just go do it, you will find yourself with everything unlocked and you don't have to go back and lose time and try to like, oh, what is this thing? Oh my god, right? Maybe you were there on a quest and now you left and now you don't know how to come back. Try to do it as soon as possible when you see them, because you get the materials, the token to expand your base knowledge, okay? Next and last tip for today is going to be use your zip lines. Now, you will be probably you will feel like you don't need to use the zip lines, but if you do, not only are you going to increase your regional level expansion, but you're also going to have a easier time reaching certain weird spots that are like not easy to reach, and you want to get there every day, let's say. It's going to be more useful to do your zip lines almost everywhere. You obviously have a cap, as you can see, a cap of 20 zip lines on this map, and it's going to have like 10 zip lines on the Valley Pass, another 10 or 12 or 15 in other maps. Each map has their cap, but if you plan accordingly, you should be able to reach major sites with your zip lines in a fast way instead of having to run there all the time. And you can also set a automatic zipline route to just go there without without even having to click. It's very important to remind yourself to use more zip lines, because this is going to help expanding the regional level and make you reach easy places that contain rare materials without too much of a sweat, right? So that is it for today's tip video. I'm gonna make a follow-up video with the mistakes to avoid, which is gonna include similar opposite of tips, but also exclusive mistakes that are like just bad things to do in general. So keep that in mind. Subscribe on the channel if you want to see more. But that is it for today's video. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Remind yourself that this is beta information, which is subject to change. Or if you're still confused, come ask me live at twitch.tv/JKZN. Thank you for watching and see you next time.